What is up, my beautiful people? I hope you are all doing well out there. We have indeed made it through another week of this disastrous Trump administration. And you know what? This might very well be the most politically damaging week Donald Trump has ever had to face, setting aside something like January 6th. This week, we learned that Donald Trump is indeed listed in the Jeffrey Epstein files. And to make matters worse, we know that his DOJ knew about it and told him about it, which means we are currently witnessing a full-blown cover-up. I mean, you really cannot make this stuff up. But we have indeed made it to another weekly roundup. Donald Trump has now been in office for 26 weeks. He's got 182 weeks left to go. And if you are counting down those days, it is 1,273 days until hopefully the Jeffrey Epstein-loving moron marches his butt right out of the White House. Now, the weekly roundup is the part in the week where we gather up a whole bunch of different clips that don't necessarily touch on any particular topic. But because we've been focusing mostly on Jeffrey Epstein over the past few weeks, we can kind of catch up on anything we may have missed, and hopefully we could have a laugh or two as well. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and start off with this clip. Here is Peter Navarro trying to convince the American people that down is up and up is down, and tariffs, well, those are actually a tax cut. If you guys do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
So tariffs, they're not tax hikes, they're tax cuts.
I mean, where do they find these people? This is probably the most absurd thing that somebody in the White House could actually claim. Tariffs are explicitly a tax on imported goods. So when a business or an individual wants to import goods from another country into the United States, they need to pay that tax before those goods can be imported. And normally what happens is the business who just had to pay that tariff, they turn around and pass that on to the consumer. So basically what you're doing is increasing taxes on American consumers. And normally it affects people at the lower end of the economic ladder the most because they are spending more of their hard-earned money to get by. To try to claim that it is actually a tax cut is the most idiotic thing that I think I've ever heard. Peter Navarro should know better. He is one of the main advisors to Donald Trump. But, I mean, what do you know? We have no talent. We have people who have absolutely no idea what the hell they're doing in this Donald Trump White House. Let's go ahead and move on to this one. Here's Kristi Noem explaining that, well, you can self-deport and then come back the right way.
They still have the opportunity to self-deport, to go back to their country. Right now, we're buying plane tickets for people to go back to their home countries. And also when they land, we give them $1,000. And then they get the opportunity to come back the right way. That is still the very best option for everybody who's in this country illegally. And that would be my hope is what they would do.
So just imagine what she's saying, guys. We're going to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars. We're going to buy these people plane tickets. We're going to send them back to their country of origin. When they get off the plane, we're going to give them an additional $1,000, and then they can make the trek back to the United States to come into this country legally. Does anybody buy this shit? I mean, this is probably the most inefficient plan that I could think of when it comes to getting undocumented immigrants into the country. Why would we pay thousands of dollars to send them back home and then just say, well, you can turn around and come back and you can get in line and do it the right way? Because really what they're trying to do is get all the black and brown folks as they possibly can out of this country. They don't really want to give them a path to become a resident or a citizen of this country. If they were serious about that, we would actually give these people a path to citizenship or a path to residency and not make them go home first. That way they could stick around, they can continue working in their jobs, they can continue contributing to their communities, they can continue paying their taxes. But no, that is not what this administration has in mind. I just can't with these people. They are so disingenuous in every single thing that they do. Let's go to move on to Tulsi Gabbard, where she's trying to say that it is Obama who is employing the art of deflection.
Gabbard, give me your response to what we heard from former President Obama there. He's saying that none of this makes any sense, that this is a distraction. What do you say to that?
It's the art of deflection coming from former President Obama, as well as his friends who are still in Congress today, and Senator Warner and Congressman Jim Himes, really all basically saying that exact same statement.
Yeah, guys, it's Obama who's actually trying to deflect away from this new conspiracy that the Trump administration and idiots like Tulsi Gabbard has decided to try to launder to cover up the whole Jeffrey Epstein files. It's actually Obama who's trying to deflect. Really? Are you kidding me? Donald Trump, I would not be surprised if Donald Trump and his closest of advisors go into a room every day and consult ChatGPT or any other AI bot to try to figure out what news story could we try to make happen to take attention away from the whole Jeffrey Epstein files thing. I guarantee you something like that is currently going on. So what did they end up doing? Oh, they went back to an oldie but a goodie. Oh, it's the Russia hoax all over again, except we're going to try to twist it in ways that make no sense at all to try to make the American people bite on a story that they once bought on before. It makes no sense, guys. These people are terrible human beings. They are trying to drag Obama's name through the mud. They're trying to drag Biden's name through the mud, all in an effort to make sure that we are not talking about the Jeffrey Epstein files. But luckily for us, guys, it ain't working. This has created the biggest Streisand effect that I've possibly ever seen. So we just need to keep on hammering on this. We need to keep on exposing Donald Trump's deep and corrupt ties to Jeffrey Epstein, because like I said, this is very politically damaging to him. Let's go ahead and move on to Chuck Schumer. He's got a strong message to the Republicans.
We all want to pursue a bipartisan, bicameral appropriations process. That's how it's always been done successfully, and we believe that should happen. However, the Republicans are making it extremely difficult to do that. One, which Rosa will talk about, by putting out a budget that is way beyond where everybody is at. But two, by talking about rescissions, pocket rescissions, impoundment.
What are we doing here, guys? What are we doing? Chuck Schumer, can you please get the fuck out? This is not helpful in a time like this. You are not meeting the moment. Coming out and saying, oh, the Republicans, they're just making it so damn hard to pass a bipartisan appropriations process or a bipartisan budget. Yeah, you think, bro? You think? So you call a press conference, you have a couple of your buddies gather around, and you issue the statement of, well, we'd really like to do the right thing, but Republicans, they're just making it really hard. This is not helpful. Talking about rescissions, pocket rescissions, impoundment. Do most Americans even know what these words mean in the context of a congressional budget? I mean, this is just not effective in any way at all. How many people even watched this damn press conference? And then if they did watch it, did they even understand the words that Chuck Schumer is even saying here? This is not effective. We need leaders who can communicate properly to the American people. They need to come out and say that the Republicans, they are trying to do this all on their own. They're not even giving us a chance to operate in good faith. If we do get anything passed, we do get any amendments added to the budget, they're talking about just cutting it out afterwards. So what is the point? We need to do better here, guys. We need to do better. We are currently witnessing an authoritarian takeover, the likes of which we have never seen before. And Chuck Schumer and his ilk are just not meeting the moment. We got to do better. Let's go to move on to Donald Trump. He said he's going to bring prices down by guess how much percent?
We're going to get the drug prices down, not 30 or 40%, which would be great, not 50 or 60. No, we're going to get them down 1,000%, 600%, 500%, 1,500%, numbers that are not even thought to be achievable because I've used a certain talent that I have. And
somebody needs to put this guy in a nursing home. Something is just not right. Oh yeah, nobody thought it would be achievable to get prices down by 500%, 1,000%, 1,500%. And I did it, guys, by using this special skill that I have. What is going on here, guys? Like, this is the president of the United States. His brain has just completely fallen out of his ears. It is not possible to drop prices by more than 100%. Donald Trump seems to have no idea that that is what is actually going on here. He thinks that he is, he likes to be hyperbolic. I'll give him that. But you need to be hyperbolic in ways that actually make sense. This is just demonstrating how broken your brain truly is. This is just demonstrating the cognitive decline that we have been talking about is on full display. It is getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And we are only 6 months in to this disastrous administration. We have 3.5 years to go of an addled old man who doesn't even know 1,500% reduction in prices makes absolutely no sense at all. Quite wild, everybody. Let's go ahead and move on to Jesse Waters saying that the district courts are trying to coup Alina Habba.
This country.
The Democrats are determined to let chaos run free. Yesterday, they tried to coup the U.S. prosecutor from New Jersey, Alina Habba, who's been going after these thugs. Alina says she's not going anywhere.
The reason I play this clip is because these MAGA assholes are trying to rewrite history. They are trying to redefine the way that we use language. They are trying to make sure that they are, kind of equivocating with some of the worst actions that Donald Trump has ever been engaged in by using language like this. Donald Trump actually engaged in an insurrection against the United States of America. One might call it a coup. So by using this type of language here, they're trying to equivocate. But what is happening to Alina Habba in New Jersey comes nowhere close to being anything close to a coup, okay? What happened is Donald Trump appointed her to interim U.S. attorney, and by law, interim attorneys, U.S. attorneys, can only serve for 120 days. That 120 days is up. And so the district court, until a Senate-confirmed U.S. attorney is appointed, the district court is allowed to vote in a new U.S. attorney to the new interim position, like I said, until the one gets Senate-confirmed. So that's all that happened here. So instead of abiding by the law, and because Donald Trump wants to keep all of these sycophants around, they fired the person that the district court judges voted on. Again, this is another attack against our judicial system. It is they who are just wreaking havoc throughout the federal government. And then you've got people like Jesse Waters, people in the MAGA universe, who use language like this to make it sound like Democrats or these so-called radical rogue judges are just as bad. I mean, it is really, I don't even really know how to explain it. It's just so disingenuous. It is just so, it's just so irritating. We cannot live in a world where you've got the two sides that are playing by a completely different set of rules. This is an untenable situation that we have to figure out a good way to combat. We have to start playing on their level. We have to start hitting back in the way that they try to hit us. But yeah, what we are seeing right now is it's just an untenable situation. Now, for the positive clip of the week, or the clip where we get to point out some good rhetoric, or in this case, we've got Zoran Mondani. You guys have probably heard that he won the race, the Democratic primary over in New York. But check out this ad where he kind of just pre-butts anything that the New York Post might come out and say, or people in the right-wing media ecosystem might have to say about him. This is an excellent political ad.
Being a politician means listening, not just to your supporters, but your critics too. And some of these critics, especially on a certain website, have been giving me consistent advice. For example, @SamWhite087. Zoran, go back to Uganda, where you come from and belong. @TeflonGone. Loser, go back to Africa. There are thousands like this from across the country. I hear you. And I agree. I'm going back to Uganda. I'm headed there in a personal capacity to celebrate Rama and I's marriage with our family and friends. But I do want to apologize to the haters, because I will be coming back. And since you will undoubtedly read about this trip in the New York Post, inshallah on the front page, here are a few of my humble suggestions for headlines. MIA, Mamdani in Africa. Uganda miss me. He's completely crazy. The Afra can't be serious. Carl Kampala-Neely investigates Mamdani. Zoe running away.
I mean, we need more stuff like this, guys. I mean, this was just excellent. You're coming out, you're not even giving the right wing a chance to define you in an untruthful way. You're coming out and you're doing it first. It kind of reminds me of the 8 Mile, when Eminem goes up to battle and he just clowns on himself the whole time, leaving the other dude speechless. Excellent, excellent political ad. And you know what? Zoran Mamdani, probably a bit further left than I am. The right wing is absolutely freaking out about him because he describes himself as a democratic socialist. But New York voted. The Democrats in New York voted for Zoran Mamdani. So if he gets to go and, he is part of the general election and New York wants to make him, I believe it's mayor he's running for, then so be it. If you live in New York, you've got an opportunity to go out and vote against him if that is what you choose to do. But Zoran Mamdani, he ran an excellent, excellent campaign. He made it about affordability. I like these videos where he's sitting in, some sort of restaurant in New York. And then he's using pop cultural references like the whole mean tweets thing that we've seen on late night and things like that. I just think this is really good. This is one of the reasons why Zoran Mamdani went from 0 to 100 in very little time at all. He is an effective communicator. And now we see Democrats. I've seen a few Democrats. I even saw Andrew Cuomo come out and try to replicate this style, and it just is going very, very wrong for him. It's actually quite funny to watch, but we need more stuff like this. This is a good political ad. This is good political communication. He is speaking to New Yorkers in the way that resonates with them, and I think we need to see more things like this coming from Democrats around the country. We need to start playing the digital game much, much better, because we just got walloped in the last election. So I definitely thought that this was a great ad. Like I said, Zoran Mamdani is quite a bit left compared to where I'm at. But I think he's doing some things right. I think he is an effective communicator. I think he is focusing on the right things, the things that New Yorkers care about. And that is why he ran the Democratic primary. So good on Zoran Mamdani, and I cannot wait to see all these New York Post headlines to try to smear him before the election, because you guys know that is coming. So those are the clips that I had for you guys this week. Like I said, we have been focusing a lot on the whole Jeffrey Epstein story, and with very, very good reason. Obviously, I tried to make sure that that's not every single video that we are doing. There are still a whole other array of issues that we have to continue to talk about. There are just some devastating things going on in this country right now. But this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, it is one of the most politically damaging things that I can think of when it comes to Donald Trump. This is breaking through in a way that things normally don't get a breakthrough for Donald Trump. Normally, he is able to set the narrative. Like I said, he's probably sitting around in a room with his top advisors, coming up with ChatGPT prompts, trying to figure out what he can push into the media to make us not talk about the whole Jeffrey Epstein files. But on this particular issue, it is not working. And we've talked about why that is, because this whole Jeffrey Epstein file thing plays into this whole conspiratorial worldview from some in the MAGA base, where they think that there is a global cabal of pedophiles who are running the government, who are running the world. And when Donald Trump got into office and said that there's nothing to see here, that's just not sitting well with some in the MAGA base. And of course, with Democrats, this is a prime issue for us to exploit, and I think we need to continue to do that. We need to continue to exploit this crack in the MAGA base and start picking off some of these voters in the best way that we can. So like I said, guys, those are the clips that I had for you guys this week. I hope you are all doing well out there. I hope everybody is enjoying their summer. We just launched a Substack over at politiscape.substack.com. If you want to help me fight back against this MAGA media machine as part of this team effort on the left here, I would very much appreciate that. Otherwise, guys, I will leave it there. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. We are trying to build something on the left that pushes back against this right-wing media ecosystem that just launders all of these terrible ideas for the Trump administration day in and day out. So if you do like what I do here, please do remember to smash that subscribe button. Of course, that costs you nothing. Otherwise, guys, I'll see you next week.